Hey guys, it's Matt Fielder with MJF Guide Service giving you your July 15th fishing report for Table Rock Lake. Guys, the fishing is still pretty dang solid. Depending on where you're at in the lake, you know, some parts are tougher than others. Now with all the big boat traffic and now it's getting into the dog days of summer, the lake level has really dropped. I think this morning was at 920.1. So they are dropping the lake pretty good. Water temp 82 to 84, 85. Depends on where you're at in the lake. For me, my most consistent bait, and I know I've talked about it in the previous two videos, but the jig bite for me has still been really, really good. I mean, this right here, you know, it's just this is a PB&J. A little football jig. This one's a Pee Wee Football Jig. I had one laying on the deck and I picked it up. You know, I broke one off in a brush pile. I had one just sitting and I tied it on, threw it out, next cast, boom, another fish. So the Pee Wee Football Jig's been working really good. Also, half ounce or 5/8 ounce Jewel Football Jig. My two colors are, well, there's really three. The PB&J has been my, is a staple. It's my go-to on Table Rock. A color called Bass Whacker, and then Green Pumpkin Orange. Those have been my three colors for the football jig. I haven't seen really a huge, rhyme or reason as far as the trailer goes. As far as color, I throw a lot of watermelon meat, a lot of watermelon red, green pumpkins, green pumpkin purple. That part doesn't seem to matter as much as long as it somewhat resembles your jig. But for the most part, even a green pumpkin blue has been working for me. That's been my number one bait. Now sometimes you'll get into some of these schools and you'll be catching them with the jig, and then they might just kind of slow down, but you can still see them down there. You're like, okay, they're still there. So I've been picking up, a Flutter Spoon. This one's a Dixie Jet Falcon. We got them in there at Modern Outdoor Tackle, and it has helped fire that school back up. Now, I may not necessarily get the bite on that spoon every time. I may get one, maybe two, but it kind of gets that school activated. And then after that, I followed up with a 10XD, guys. The fish have kind of come back out a little bit more with that, falling water. It's getting hot. They're seeing that sun, and it has drawn them out a little bit. So I'm catching them now from, 18 to 25 foot, and that's typically, where I've been doing the damage on the crankbait and the spoon. And then on the main, up by the dam area, like the main lake part by the dam, they've been even a little bit deeper. So I'm catching them out there, 30 to 35, 40 foot even on the jig. Now sometimes I will up, that's when I'm going to be throwing that 5/8, even a 3/4 sometimes if they're deeper than 35. It just it's a day by day basis. It seems like when, the sun's way up in the air, they do get out deeper, but on this cloud, it's cloudy this morning, they weren't as deep as on a bright sunny day. They were a little bit shallower. They were in that 20, 22 foot range today and yesterday as well. But as that sun started coming up, you could actively see the fish start pulling out. I mean, even though you're catching them out of that school, that you could see them as the sun got in the air a little bit, they came out. The jig still worked. Now, if they just are reluctant to bite, you've caught a few on the jig, you're still throwing it, they're not biting it, and you've gone through the option of throwing that Flutter Spoon, and it seems like they're fired up, but you still didn't catch them either cranking or throwing your jig back in there. The bait that has really, kind of worked for me has been a drop shot. This is just a robo worm. This is Morning Dawn. I've also been throwing a KVD Magic, by Strike King. It's been working really good. Now, when I've been trying to target some bigger bites, guys, in the schools at least, I've been picking up a BassTrix hollow belly swim bait. This is a 6-inch hollow belly by BassTrix, and I've gotten some better quality on them. Caught a few 4-pounders this week, throwing a hollow belly swim bait, and so that's pretty cool. You're wanting some bigger bites, or if you've never tried it, it's a really, really fun bite. They really knock the rod out of your hand. So you guys should go into Modern Outdoor Tackle and pick up some BassTrix hollow belly swim baits. Down by the dam, I've been catching, it seems like a lot of these fish, spotted bass, and now the largemouth are back into play offshore even more than I've seen all summer. And kind of the same thing there. You'll see them clumped up in these trees, and I've been throwing a cast Prodigy Swimbaits in the 3-inch and the 4.1 inch. And it's been going good for me. And then another bait, sometimes they may not go after the swim bait. Maybe you've caught 1 or 2 out of that tree top. I'll pick up a jigging spoon, because you can control it just a touch better than a Flutter Spoon. And I'll pitch it by that tree, and normally they come off that tree and hit this. I mean, it's a quick, reaction strike, and I've been catching quite a few fish on that. Fishing still pretty decent. It has slowed down, a little bit, but on my trips, I've been catching between 20-ish to 30 bass each trip. But typically I've got, 3-4 clients on the boat. So, there's more lines in the water, so there's more chances to get it. But the fishing's still pretty solid. You just got to hit some of those right, stretches at the right time. Sometimes offshore fishing can get timing specific. So, if you guys want to learn how to offshore fish, how to find these, how to graft these fish, and then how to position on some of these fish to get more bites, give me a call. I'd love to take you out. I'd love to show you how. We don't need to, it doesn't have to be a 2, 3, 4 person trip. I love taking groups of people. Don't get me wrong there, but if you're a fisherman, you're an avid fisherman, but you can't seem to get that offshore bite going, give me a call, and I'd be happy to get you out there. But guys, hopefully this information is going to help you this week catching fish. Channel swings, they're starting to get, they're still out channel swing points on some of those points where they were a little bit shallower. Just kind of, if you're not catching them out there now, in that 15 to 18 range, like they had been in the previous few weeks, start sliding out deeper depending on where you're at in the lake. The water seems to be kind of stable, but it is dropping, so that part's good. Water temp is a nice, 82 to 84, and it's summertime pattern. Largemouth are starting to come back into play, and I'm loving it. I'm starting to see a little bit more quality out there. But one thing that goes the opposite way is the smallmouth numbers have seemed to drop a little bit. Still spotted bass are going, still catching smallmouth, but not as many as I was. When that water was up, it seemed like it held those smallmouth, a little bit, shallower than normal at this time of the year. But they're still out there, still catching some, and the bite's still pretty dang solid. So if you guys want to get out in the water, learn how to offshore fish, give me a call. I'd love to help you. Have a good week out there fishing, guys, and until next week, we'll see you later.